All right, 5 key elements to being a great rhythm guitar player. There's many, but let's go over 5. These are what I'm kind of thinking of, little nuts and bolts of music. Now, you can know every scale, every chord, you can know every system, you can know all of this, but if you don't have rhythm, you have nothing. Rhythm is king. If you've never been on this channel, in every video, I'm always preaching this along with it. Rhythm is, you have to make this at the forefront of every part of practice you do. All right, so let's just get right into this. Number 1, this is kind of like a little 3-part or 3 sections. So you have to have confidence, number 1, and it leads to timing and groove, okay? And we'll go over what timing and groove are. Now, confidence. I want you to grab the neck, okay? Grab it. You need to control the neck. We're not even going to play any chords here. We're not going to play any notes. I could hand this guitar to a stranger in the street that has never played, and I would tell him this. I'd say, hold this guitar. I'd say, wrap your fingers around the strings. I'd say, don't push the strings down. I want you to strike the strings with confidence. One time, I'd want to hear this. So I want you to grab your acoustic, grab your electric. I don't want you to even plug in your electric. No effects, no reverb, nothing. No, just you, some wood, some steel strings or nylon, whatever it got on there, and I want you to strike those strings. Okay. I want you to grab the neck. Now, we're not playing any notes or chords yet, so here's something you can do every day, which leads to the timing groove part. So number 1 point is kind of like a 3-parter, okay? So grab it, and I do this every day. Remember, James Brown said, every instrument is a drum set, right? So this is a percussive thing. This is like half of your playing, if not more. And we're not even talking about playing any notes or chords or scales or nothing like that, all right? So get a groove going, okay? I want you to feel, I want you to internalize the groove. If you can just do solid downstrokes, you're trying to build your internal meter, your internal metronome. So I play in a rock band, I play in an acoustic duet with no percussion. I obviously play in here by myself, I record a lot, but internal rhythm is everything. This will single-handedly make playing by yourself the most fun, okay? So just grab the strings, vary your rhythms, okay? Feel the groove, the pocket, playing in the groove is everything, okay? It's just like those drummers that come in the studio. I worked in the studios a lot. The drummers that would annoy the producers the most are the guys that would go into the fills and they'd come out of the fill and they lost the groove. Dudette, don't even play the fill if you can't keep the groove. Same thing on guitar. So get that confidence going, okay? Ticky-tacky drums, ticky-tacky guitar players go like this. They don't have any confidence, and you can see it in their face, you can see it in their body language, and you can hear it in their playing. I'm not even talking about dynamics yet. We'll get to that. Okay, number 2. That little foundation of confidence is going to lead right into consistent strumming and picking technique. Okay, so what you can do now is you could take, let's just do this. You can do an open chord. I'll do a G open chord. You can do a bar chord, whatever you want. And then we'll do a little simple scale. So let's just take the G chord and let's get a nice clean rhythmic flow going, okay? Now, what I want you to do too is I want you to take that first part of the technique, which is the percussive part. I want you to start throwing some of those in there, all right? Just on one chord. So we're not even switching to any chords. There's no transitions happening. That's a whole nother ball of wax. So let's just get that going. See, do little things like that too. See if you can take your train that's driving the rhythm and see if you can just pick like the high end part of the chord, right? So pick like the B, a high B, a high B, high E, G, and B string. So look. Okay, so try palm muting stuff, just downstrokes. You could just do downstrokes, but keep it clean. Feel the groove. That's always, remember, number 1. You're not going to get any of this if you're not confident with yourself. So just let it fly. If you're playing in front of other people, who cares what they think? Say, you got to build that warrior inside, okay? Build the warrior inside. I feel like one of those motivational speakers. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about clean picking technique. So let's just take a G major scale, okay? We'll just take it on the E, A, and D strings, 1 octave. So see if you can get this really clean. So go down. So this is where your alternate picking is going to come in, all right? So, and also if you're going to play without a pick, get that clink too. That's a whole nother like variable we've thrown into this, right? So you've got your rhythmic playing with the pick, you've got it playing without a pick. Some people play hybrid, pick and fingers. But always, every time you play your guitar, regardless of what you're doing, put the rhythm in like the front part of your brain and just keep it there like out in front. Always. That is everything. You're going to feel when you're falling apart, okay? And if you do, it's okay. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show at the end where I fall apart. I want you to see what real practice looks like, what I'm working on. You got to keep progressing and pushing yourself. Okay, number 3, dynamics and accents. So what we were just doing right here. So why it matters, good rhythm guitar is not robotic, right? It's not a static thing. So somebody doesn't just play the G like this the whole time. I mean, they might, but that's not very interesting. There's nothing that catches the listener's ear. So again, vary your dynamics and accents, and that's just gonna happen naturally, but that's why I'm showing you this stuff. Because before you can do it with chords, you need to do it with the percussive part, like you're a drummer, right? Accents sometimes on the downstroke, accents sometimes on the upstroke, and then you're gonna start really singing like, oh, okay, ska or reggae hits the backbeat or the upstroke. Or when you're picking, you don't pick all the same notes at the same volume, right? And also, sometimes when you're running the scale, you're not even going to pick the note. You're going to go... That's why get that little beatbox drummer going. That helps you internalize the rhythm, all right? So dynamics and accents. So again, you could do to the G chord or do the bar chord and just... See right there, I just took a little piece of the scale, and there's all these other techniques that get wrapped into rhythm playing, like muting, what we're doing here, playing the chords, dynamics, accents, all right? Depending on the style of music you like to play, certain styles of music are just stronger in these other areas, right? Like ska is really what? Just, I don't know, like it's fast reggae, right? So again, just practice different rhythms, but don't bite off more than you can chew. It's better to stay simple and build up from there. Walk before you can run. All right, number 4. Do we do number 3? I think we did. Chord clarity and voice leading, all right? So muddy chords or poor transitions break the rhythm. Now, one thing I've done on this channel a lot, and I'll always do it forever, is I do this thing where I go from a bar chord, okay? Because bar chords are hard to play, right? And I go from a bar chord, and inside of that bar chord, there lives this beautiful triad shape, which is a 3-note version of that same chord. This is a G bar chord, G, B's, and D's, okay? But this one just has G, B, D by itself. So a great thing, and you're gonna wanna add this, just trust me, is you go from the bar chord to this triad that lives inside, and I'm gonna link a playlist to the triads that I'm starting. I just started it over. I'm gonna do all 12 major and minor. I'm making charts, beautiful colors, everything explained one at a time, so you can burn that in your brain. You'll use that more than anything, okay? But rhythm is always king, rhythm is queen. Now, bar chord to the triad, bar chord to the triad, bar chord to the triad. See how I accented that time in the upstroke? Right there, I'm kind of putting into action or modeling what I'm telling you I'm doing and what you need to practice. Now, I'm gonna show you how to do it with the pick and without. Now, here's the biggest key part of this, okay? Now, this is why number 4, like chord clarity. Now, listen, when you start playing guitar, it's hard to mute out strings that you don't want there. This just takes time, so be patient with yourself, all right? So in this case, when I do this, a lot of times I hit all the strings, but I'm only getting these 3 notes of the triad to sound out. So I go, watch. Now, I'm commanding this neck, right? I'm the one who's confident. I'm making this guitar make the sounds I want it to make to go into your beautiful little ears. Cupcakes for your ears. Delicious cupcakes, I hope. So when I come over, my thumb is muting, okay? My thumb is muting the E and A string, okay? But I'm hitting it. See, that's another thing. You're hitting it, but I'm just getting this part to sound out. That's another key thing of great rhythm playing. So maybe one day you want to take 5 minutes and just do bar chord, try it. See, do this though. What you can do is, I want you to push down the triad and pick each string one at a time, okay? When I go like that, okay, good. I'm not pushing those down, but there we go. And the high E is just muted by that flesh of the finger too. See, that's the thing too. You'll start to have light bulb moments where great rhythm playing, there's all these tiny little things that add up. It's like a cumulative thing that adds to great rhythm playing. So bar chord, 2, try it. Bar chord, 2, try it. So you can pick it, emphasize the downstroke on the triad, or emphasize on the upstroke. For example, see? There you go. Now, pick and flick is another thing I do. I like to do this thing where I pick. I'm just gonna bar the chord. I pick the bar chord and flick. Get the bass line moving. Now, is this rhythm? Of course it is. It's a different kind of rhythm. So that's what I'm saying. Don't pigeonhole yourself. Don't play with the pick for 10 years and then hear someone going. Okay? You're going to want to do that. So start now. Try it. All these little micro movements, but these guys have to work as a team with your brain. But you're not going to be able to do any of this if you're not playing confidently. Now, I'm not saying no one's going to come out of the gate in the beginning and be like, oh, I'm a great guitar player when they haven't even put in the time yet, but you'll get it, all right? So let's go to number 5, and this is pretty obvious. We'll close this out. I want you to try some of these techniques, okay? Just repetition, right, and rhythm. Muscle memory. You have to do this stuff, right? If you don't put in the time, you don't put in the reps, none of this is going to happen. So if you can take one thing away from this lesson, if there's just one thing you do it for 30 seconds to a minute, is grab the guitar with confidence, and I want you to strum those strings, okay? Okay, so let me kind of show you what I was talking about. Here's something I'm working on right now. I'm always kind of pushing the boundaries, and you need to too, because if we stay in our comfort zone and we get stuck there, we're going to get bored. And a lot of people, that's when they quit guitar. They complain about, oh, I'm so bored, I hit a plateau, but they're not like busting out of their comfort zone. So one thing I'm doing is, let's just show you a little example. We'll close this out. You can try this if you want. I'm going to do a full breakdown in another video, but I'm playing a D minor 7, okay? And I go to a G bar chord, and sometimes I hit the triad, sometimes I play out of the scale, okay? Don't even worry if you don't know what this means, it's okay. Then I go to the C, and then to the A minor. Okay, now, I hit the triad, sometimes the bar chord, so it's technically, let me think, minor 2, okay, because we're in the key of C, G, the 5, so in G I play Mixolydian. You're like, this guy sounds like wah, 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 wah. It's okay. I teach the theory stuff too, so keep coming back. And then C, bar chord to the triad. And then I like to go into this A minor triad, so I'm going to C. But rhythm, this is why I'm bringing this so much. Okay, so you see what I'm doing there? That's, sometimes I'm strumming full chord, sometimes I'm hitting the triads, sometimes I'm playing just little runs out of scales or out of the cage system, or whatever, pentatonic, major, minor. So that's why you gotta work on your rhythm. Now, one thing I'll tell you, one more really cool tip or trick is always if you can, before you completely derail. And trust me, you're gonna feel, especially, there's nothing worse than playing with a bad drummer and a bad bass player. Luckily, I'm playing with a great one, right? A great a rhythm foundation. So duck out of that situation real fast, or you're gonna train them how to be a rhythm section. But when you start to feel yourself derail, I want you just to let up off the string and always go back to the. Because one thing I do when I get lost, even if it's just on one string, if I'm going. So So right there I wasn't playing a whole lot, but I kept the flow going. So you see how the rhythm still will make it sound cool. And that's why too, when you get into the finger picking stuff and you got like that bass line going along with it, get it right? It's like you got bass player and rhythm player. I want to get better at the bluegrass stuff. I stink, but you got to build it up. So you can start doing hammer-ons, pull-ups, but you're not going to be able to add all that kind of ear candy stuff in there, or that frosting, until you get this. All right, remember, rhythm is king. So go through each little section on this video. Let me know how you're doing with these techniques. Check out the video. I'm going to link here somewhere, the playlist to the triads, and the one to those hard chord shapes, okay? So like, these are really hard finger shapes for triads. Okay, so you guys got this. Just put in the time. Guitar is amazingly fun the better you get. So just keep pushing, but always rhythm, 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 okay? Repetition, rhythm, repeat. You got this. I'll see you in the next videos. Peace.